Hi, everyone. When you hop on, say hi. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. We're going to get started. Before I start my project, I wanted to tell you that on my live on Friday, I showed you how to make these desk calendars and a card. Well, they will fit in an envelope where you could mail them together. Gotta get them in first. Okay. Hi, Rosie. Welcome. So they will fit in um, an envelope, both of them, the calendar and the card. So you could send it to anybody and they would get the little gift plus their card. Okay, I just wanted to share that so you guys knew that you didn't need a special envelope if you wanted to send them. Okay, flipping the camera down. This is the stamp set where I'm using tonight, the Rustic Centerpiece. And I did show you the 3 cards that I created with one of each. Well, I'm creating them again plus another one. Okay. This is the first one I'm going to be doing, the Christmas one. And I used our red and white peppermints, adhesive peppermints on there. Also, Wink of Stella. I went ahead and I colored your image, but I only did it in, this is done in watercolor, um, or, hi Linda, welcome, or, oh man, these here, Stampin' Blends, okay? So this one, all the projects I'm showing you tonight is done with our number 1 and number 2 watercolor pencils, okay? I went ahead and I colored all them in, and I'm going to take my, okay, oh here, blender pen, and I am just going to just carefully just go over where I use the pencil. It will make it more vibrant, I want to say. It just blends the pencil where I colored into more like a watercolor effect. But I think I like it better doing with the watercolor pencils because, and this is using Old Olive, but you get to see here, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but you don't see much of the lines through that like you do with the pencils, okay? You see more of the pencils. Okay, so I need to clean my piece of scrap here. Okay, then we're going to do the deer. And the same thing, I'm just going over. Now you wouldn't have to do his antlers, but I did. You could have just left them black. All my images tonight was using the Memento black ink pads. Clean that off. Hi Tina, welcome. And we're gonna just color in the piece of wood. This is using the crumb cake, or no, I'm sorry, pecan pie and early espresso. I'm doing the early espresso part now. And then this is done with the real cherry cobbler. Cherry cobbler. And the flame is kush curry. And then for the pot, it's balmy blue. And I am gonna color in this way and over and lightly go in the center so you get that little bit of a shadow. All right, that is done there. Gonna take the Wink of Stella. I'm gonna do the candle holder. And I'm coming down on the tree. And you probably can't see it, but it does have some shine to it. There you go. Okay. And for your Wink of Stella, you want to clean your tip because it will pick up the ink or the pencil. Okay. Now I'm going to get Holly and Jolly. And that's from the Jolly Holly stamp set. And instead of doing it black, I am going to do it in cherry cobbler. It's okay. And I'm going to stamp that up the top here. And then I'm going to bring in my card. 8.5 by 5.5. Hi Denise, welcome. Scored at 4 1/4. 8.5 by 5.5. Scored at 4 1/4. This is using the woven textures for this one here. And then the other one, Need for Tweed. And I'll tell you what, they're really similar, but this has more color in it. Okay, I got them both because we all need masculine cards, and some of the DSP we have is not masculine. So I decided to do this. And you know what? If at Easter time, if you have a basket, this would make a great basket. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. Put that on there. This piece is 3 by 4 3/4. And this would be 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. Hi, Shirley. Welcome. Yeah, it is, Shirley. I'm glad I bought it. And we're just going to center that on there. And then we're going to just glue it to the front in the center. Okay, now like I said, this was using the Stampin' Blends. This is using the watercolor pencils. So now I need my peppermint. And we're just going to put a few on here. There's 3 different sizes. One, two, three, four, five, six. I'm going to do one more. I'll put one right there. Okay. That is card number 1. Card number 2. Like I said, I used all the pencil crayons, the watercolor pencils, and on them. And I'm just going to use my blender pen, and you know what? I didn't score that right. Let me get another piece. That's not scored right. Hold on, I gotta get a piece of white. Let's cut that to 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. 5 1/2. I'm gonna score that at 4 1/4. I have to take my scoring blade out because it falls out. And we're gonna use our bone folder, and we're gonna score that. This piece of old olive, 3 1/4. I'm sorry, 3 3/4 by 5. That's going to go in there. This piece is 2 1/2 by 3 1/4. So this would be 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. Is that right? I'm sorry. This is 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. This is 2 3/8 by 3 1/4. It's going to be top and bottom, but you're going to have the side over here, okay? Before I do that, I'm going to use my blender pen, and we're going to do the yellow in the centers of the flowers, and this one up here. Get my stand here. Clean that, and I'm going to just do the greens. And there, oh, that's old olive. Clean that, and then we're going to do the flower first. You don't want to keep your blender pen too long on your paper. It will like it'll make it too wet and it'll start fraying off. Okay. And then we're going to do our bottoms here. And these are done in, you see here, pecan pie. Okay. Clean the brush or the blender pen. Then I have 2 pieces of that paper that was left over. These are 3/4 inch pieces, okay, because it was 1.5 left over. What I'm going to do is glue. First, I'm going to stamp thanks. And let me find which one that was in. I think that was in Spotlight on Nature. Yep. Thanks. From Spotlight on Nature. Let's get black. Let's see if it's straight. Yeah, pretty good. I don't like, I think you might have heard that already, clean stamps. I prefer the photopalmer because you can see what you're stamping. Okay, so this is going to go on there in the center. I'll leave an edge on either side, like so. Okay, and then these will get on the top here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, put a little glue at the top and at the bottom. And then we're going to mount these on here. It don't matter if it's over, I'm going to cut them down. This side. You want to make them about the same. Okay, so now get my snips. And I'm just going to cut right along the green paper. Like so. And that's going to get on the front of here. So we're going to put the green down. That's Old Olive, 3 3/4 by 5. So you're going to center that in on your card. And then this is going to get glued on here. Like so. And get our Winka Stella, and I'm going to do the flowers. Winka Stella is getting a workout today. Okay. And I'm going to do this little yellow one up here. Okay. There's card number 2. Card number 3. one here. And I went over with Rinka Stella on the apple. 8.5 by 4, 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. 4 by 5 1/4. That's going to go on top. This piece is 3 1/4 by 4. That will go there. And this should be okay. Sorry guys, this is 4.5 by 3 1/4. This is 4 1/4 by 3. I should write them down and just put it with the stuff. That way I would know. Okay, so what I'm going to do is glue this on first. Like so. Okay. And before I go any further, I want to write down some names here that's on tonight. Because I will be drawing names for some prizes that I was going to make it a short for my birthday week, but I just extended it to the 31st. And if you're on all my lives, your name will go in that many times. So you have more of a chance to win. And it's going to be retired stuff, people. Okay. My blender pen again, and we're going to do these real quick. This is Old Olive in the watercolor pencils. And I'm just cleaning off my blender pen. This is Fruity Flamingo, the pink ones here. I didn't know what they were, so I made them pink, or the Fruity Flamingo. The flowers are crushed curry. And the center is pecan pie. Okay. And the bottom is early espresso. Okay. The apples are cherry cobbler. Okay. And then the base is balmy blue. Or the vase, not the base. And going around the edges. And then I'm going to come in here and lightly do this. Like so. Okay. Then I'm going to take my Wink of Stella and put it on the apples. This is actually real red in number 2. So I chose cherry cobbler. I didn't like that color. So we're going with cherry cobbler. It looks more appley. Okay. And put this together. Oh, we need thanks again. Put that right here. And make sure it's dry. And that's going to go in the middle of that. Okay, and then we're going to just put that on the front. In the center. Card number 3. Card number 4 is this one here. Okay, now I did not put any Week of Stella on there. So let me do that now so it's done. And I use Granny Apple Green in our pencils for the apples. Okay. 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. This one's dirty. Get the other piece here. 4 1/4. Okay. Then I went and used our Daisy 3D folder, embossing folder. This is 8.5 by 6. Yeah, it does. It did look better. That's why I'm glad I chose that, Shirley. And I cut my paper at 4 by 5 1/4 and ran it through. That's just going to get laid right there. Okay. So we're going to put that down. So let's glue this down. And being that it's embossed, you want to put a little extra on. You don't need much, but you need a little extra. So let's put that down there. Okay. Crushed curry. 2 7/8 by 3 5/8. 2 5/8 by 4 1/2. That's going to go right on the center here. You just want a very little ridge around it, okay? I am going to put these together and let it set it aside because I fussy cut that pattern out, that image, and it's going to get popped up on here. Fussy cut that out. So I'm just going to do real quick, blend the watercolor pencils with the blender pen. And I left those little doohickeys plain. I left them white. Okay. Then I'm going to do the flowers. Your crushed curry again. Okay. Oh, hi, Sue. Hey, if you see Deb, tell her I could not send her a copy of the mini catalog through Stampin' Up because she opted out to share her information. You will get one. She'll have to wait till I get mine in the mail. Okay, so the top is pecan pie. Okay. And then the base is early espresso. Okay. And we're going to do the apples. Whoop, that's not clean. These are Granny Apple Green, which fits Granny Smith apples. And then we're going to do the base. And I'm going to do the same way. I'm going to go one side. And then in the center lightly. Okay? And we'll bring our Rinca Stella in and do our apples. And we're going to pop this up with some dimensionals. Nope, not them. Do I have them out? I do. I didn't want little ones. And that's going to go in the middle of the card. But you got to put it on straight though. There we go. And then we're going to pop this up too. And then I'm going to use a little one up here. And then we're done with the dimensionals. I don't normally use a lot of dimensionals, but I think sometimes it calls for that. Especially if you want it to stand out. Okay, I'm sorry, pick tool. Okay. Oops, not on the table, Deb. Glad it's a glass mat. And then this will get right on the front, like so. I did not put a greeting on here, and I'm not going to put it on. What I'll do is stamp it on a piece of white and put here, it'll be thanks. But that is my cards tonight. As you can see, I stamped the images again because I thought, you know what, I may make more. Alright guys, I used assortment 1 and assortment 2 in my pencils. And I'm going to bring them out here so you can see them. Let me put it this way. There, make up the brown. Thanks, Rosie. All right. So, I lost my... Here we go. I need to put Sue down here. Oh, hi, Rhonda. Hi. Welcome. Thank you for the comment. I'm going to put Rhonda down here. Okay. In case you weren't on when I said this earlier, the calendar and the cards that I made on Friday, thanks Tina, they will both fit in our envelopes. So you can mail, I would turn that over. You'll be able to mail your card. If it's a happy birthday card, you can mail the calendar right along with it. Because they will fit right in there and fold it. Okay? Thanks, Shirley. Thanks, Linda. So you'll be able to mail that together. You don't have to wait till you see them and hand it to them. You'll be able to mail that whole thing. They go right into the envelope. Okay, guys. That's all I have for you tonight. I will be back on Wednesday for Scrapbooking Wednesday. And I'll have to figure out what it's going to be because I'm not sure. I don't have one made yet. So I will, 8 o'clock Wednesday, be back. Thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate every one of you. And if you didn't, thank you for sharing. Oh, did you, Rhonda? That's good. I'm glad. If you didn't share, please share my video. It helps my channel. And I will be back on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Thank you for joining me tonight. Vippies. So it was Vippies. Vippies. Deb asked the same question. And I left her no. And they are, I think, the large one. There's 25 of them in a pack. You can get, I think, 10 different amounts. They are 3 by 2 1/4. So I think they're the large ones. And they're from Vippies. VIPPIES.com. All right, guys. Once again, thank you for joining me tonight. I will see you Wednesday for Scrapbooking Wednesday at 8.